What's up, everyone? How are y'all doing today? My name is Arif, and this is your Daily Chat Season 5, Episode 18 for April the 29th, 2020. How have you all been? I believe we're in like week 8 of the lockdown. It is still going on. According to the tracker, sitting at around 3 million world cases. So with the curve not exactly flattening off, we can safely assume that May is also going to be a complete write-off. So settle in, hunker down, get your games and your TV shows ready, and just settle in, because it is going to be a bit. But how have you all been, and what is going on? There has been an actual smattering of tech news between episode 17, which came out on April 9th, so it's been about 20 days, so almost 3 weeks since I last did an episode. We've actually had a smattering of tech news, most of which has already been covered. The biggest news, for at least in terms of things I care about, are AMD releasing the brand new Ryzen 3300X, or announcing it at least. That's 4 cores, 8 threads for $120. That's insane value. That's really all there is to it. That's just insane value. And when that comes out, I cannot wait to buy 7 or 8 of them. But in terms of up-to-date and recent news, let's start with myself. If you didn't catch the Let's Chat episode 3 that I put out on April 25th, so about 4 days ago, I talked about a special project I have been working on for the last month and change. In that whole thing I'm going to talk about, if you haven't seen it, because obviously Let's Chat doesn't get as many views as Daily Chat. The special project I've been working on is, I had an idea. Mind you, I basically stole this idea from Soda Poppin's tech guy, Nick Pollum, NMP LOL. I basically stole this idea from him, but it's a whole house streaming setup. Meaning I can go to any room in my house from any device in my house and then stream to my server, and have the server be like my central hub of operations, but every other computer is like a satellite around the house that can just stream to it from any connection. And I've been working on this for the last month. It's been going okay. The base plan took about 20 minutes to figure it out. When I saw him do it, it took me about 20 minutes to figure out what was happening. And it took me about 3 hours to implement the technology. But it's taking me about a month to troubleshoot the technology, because I am, and mind you, this troubleshooting I'm doing, this one particular issue is the absolute bottleneck that is preventing me from being able to do this. It's 100% the bottleneck. So I really am trying to get this done. And I don't know if it's the switch, if it's the cables, if it's the router, if it's the computer, if it's the network card. I don't know what it is. So I've been scouring the internet, parsing through all of the OBS forums, parsing through the Moo Cow forums, like a whole bunch. I've been reading more in the last month on this one particular issue than I read for my entirety of my comp sci degree. Okay? Like, I've actually been putting in real hours. I have to actually set time aside to just research this issue. And I'm not gonna lie, it's almost to the point where I'm just willing to say I'm over it. I really am. I just want to say I'm over it. I'm done. Whatever. Screw it. But this idea is so cool that if I can get it working, I can literally never turn the stream off. If I don't want to, I can actually keep it going 24/7, and I could just stream from the office to the bar to cooking to recording YouTube videos. I could do all this kind of really, really neat stuff. So that's why I haven't really abandoned the idea yet. But at the same time, though, I'm just over it. I'm just so tired of dealing with it. And it's funny too, because I did my entire internship as a network analyst intern for a major company. And while I tried to learn a lot there, I am very quickly realizing I did not leverage that internship enough. I did not leverage that knowledge base even for a remote value of what it was worth. Even though I tried and I thought I did good, coming back to here, it's like I understand what the problem is. I have no idea how to solve the problem, but I understand what the problem is. I understand it like to a pretty good level. But yeah, I was like, okay, so I've screwed up on 2 levels. So go me. You know what? You live and you learn, I suppose, but I'm not happy about this, and I am going to keep working at it. And I haven't decided if I'm going to share the solution or not. I'm kind of moving away from the helping people for free phase. And mind you, I'm already pretty over helping people and have been for quite some time. But I'm really moving away from the helping people for free phase. And that's only because it's just not worth it. When I get the YouTube comments and I get the questions constantly about how do I do this and how do I do that, it gets kind of annoying and I just don't want to deal with it. And plus, I put this question up on the OBS forums and no one helped me with it. Meaning if I solve it, it would be good as part of the open source community to give back to the knowledge base. At the same time though, screw it. You know what? Never mind. I probably just won't post the solution. I'll probably charge for it instead. So, moving on from that kind of update and somewhat of a rant, let's get into the 2 news articles of today, meaning April 29th. And I'm sorry for the squeaky chair. I'm going to have to take this thing apart soon and oil it. But the big news of today, in the one I'm actually kind of really happy about, is AMD expects weakened demand throughout 2020. That is fantastic, and not for the reasons that you think. A weakened demand is never a good sign for a publicly traded company. They never want a weakened anything, unless they have weakened competition. Then they want that. But in terms of this, they had a good quarter. Okay, revenue was up 25%. They had a good quarter. They do expect to do well, especially with the upcoming Ryzen 4000 chips and their RTX 5000s, which are going to undercut the NVIDIA RTX 20 series, and they think that they're going to have similar performance. But no. The negligible differences in performance is going to be completely wrong, and no, that's not how that's going to happen. AMD Radeon cards, I'm sorry. I know there's fanboys out there. Actually, I'm not that sorry. Screw you. AMD cards are garbage. They really are. They are absolute trash. Their drivers are awful. They're never updated properly. There's always like 10 million bugs with the driver updates. AMD cards are trash. What's good though is they are going to have PCIe 4.0 support, so that's pretty neat. But here's the thing. Okay, here's what makes it good and why I'm happy about this. When you have weakened demand, when a company sees weakened demand for a product, they obviously need to kind of generate that boost in demand. They need to increase sales. They need to increase units being moved because they can't have stock on the shelves. They need that stuff to go. So if you have been looking to build a new computer like anytime soon, with a weakened demand, there is a high likelihood that we could be seeing a good sale coming on any AMD processor that you want. Here is my current build. Okay, this is my current build. I'm looking at replacing my Intel rig because it is getting very up there in years and it is starting to slow down and die. So I can't keep working on it. It's just even that lag that you saw of me bringing the thing over, that was real time. That was like obviously a very big hindrance for it to try and manage all the stuff now. So it's time for it to go. And yeah, I'm looking at $1,097, which actually that means something went on sale. I don't know what. Oh, the RAM went down. Hey, go me. But here we go. If we look at the AMD Ryzen 3900X, yes, this is the 12-core processor I'm looking at, only because it's 200 more than the 8-core processor. So I'm basically getting an i7 with an i5 bolted on from 2011 kind of time. But it's a good deal. It's a solid deal. And if we look at the graph here, we can see when they had price drops, and look at that, $579 here in Canada, $579. I'm sure for the American people, You probably want to see what your graph looks like. So let's quickly swap over to America. And we can see here, it dropped as low as 418. If it has weakened demand to increase sales, we can wholeheartedly expect a sale to come up soon. In that way, increase, because you got to remember, publicly traded company, they have to report for Q2. And in Q2, they can't go to their shareholders and say, we didn't do well. They have to do well. If Lisa Su wants to keep her job, she has to do well. Mind you, she's not going anywhere anytime soon. She has turned that company around. But you get the gist of what I'm going on. Shareholders want to see profit and growth every quarter. Every quarter, they want to see profit and growth. So in order to do that, they might have to slash prices just a tad. And we could be seeing a good, healthy sale coming up here real soon. If we look at the last 6 months, we might be able to catch when it got really low. I remember seeing it as low as $5.49, and that was from Amazon, and that wasn't even that long ago. That was actually something I was really salty about, and I missed it. But yeah, here, $5.99, just back on March 20th. Wait, what? March 20th? Oh, damn. I really screwed up. But yeah, here you guys go. So with AMDs, that's solid. I'm very, very happy with that. I saw this news and I got a smile on my face from ear to ear because I knew exactly that. Just hold it out, keep the cash in the bank, just hold out, wait for that sale to come through because it's going to come through definitely if they have to report for Q2 and sales are not moving as high as they would be thanks to the pandemic. And our last story of today. AMC vows that Universal movies will not be shown in its theaters after the video on demand comments. So let's break this down, okay? As with every other industry, AMC and movie theaters have shut down completely, gone dark, gone absolutely dark. And obviously with COVID-19 being a thing, they can't really be open. A theater is a breeding ground for disease, and especially like this where people are sitting still and coughing and sneezing and talking, and oh my god, the talking. You don't want that there, so they have to be shut down. As a result, movie studios are not making any money because the entire production schedule has been shot. It's totally dead right now. Like hardly anybody is making any money whatsoever right now. And in order to kind of curb that, Universal tried to do a test run with Trolls 2 World Tour, where they released it on demand for a premium of $20 per showing. And I think you got it for like 2 days. You actually got it for a pretty healthy amount of time for $20. Plenty of time to pirate the movie. Tons of time. So they said, the CEO of NBC Universal said that, let's see here. She told the Journal that the results of the Trolls 2 World Tour have exceeded our expectations and demonstrated the viability of premium video on demand. As soon as theaters reopen, we expect to release movies on both formats. On both formats. As you can totally imagine, AMC and the National Association of Theater Owners, otherwise known as NATO, NATO and AMC do not take this kindly whatsoever. They were super pissed, to say the least. And let's see here. How do I break this down for you? They were so mad. They said that we will not show any Universal film in our theaters at all. Effective immediately, AMC will no longer play any Universal movies in any of our theaters in the United States, Europe, or Middle East. And this policy affects any and all Universal movies per se, goes into effect today as our theaters reopen, and it is not a hollow or ill-considered threat. Wow, that was not the best move on AMC's part. Because here's the thing. Trolls 2 World Tour made 100 and some change. I think it's like $120 million in its first 3 weeks of release on premium video on demand. It is an absolutely viable market. For 20 bucks a pop, they got $100x million. This means that if Disney or who else is there? Who else is not bought by Disney right now? There's Disney and there's DreamWorks and there's Universal. If these people or these companies decide to go this premium video on demand route and charge, I don't know, maybe 50 bucks a watch, maybe $100 a watch if it's like a Marvel movie. It's premium video on demand. You've given yourself the right of way to charge whatever you feel like. As you put the word premium there, boom, you've automatically given yourself that right of way. And you can say to watch Black Widow on day one on premium video on demand, $100. Now, mind you, here in Canada, I pay for like myself and my sister to go see movies. I pay for each of us anywhere between as low as $12 and as high as $18 a ticket. So that's $36. And then we get popcorn. So that's another $25. So we're already looking at about $60 for us to go to the movies and just go watch one film for between 90 minutes and 3 hours. $100 of per watch is actually not outside of the realm of reasonable pricing. It's really not. It looks like a lot on paper, but when you start busting down the math on what it costs you to take per person, it's really not great. Plus, if you're watching at home, you can pause it. Plus, if you're watching at home, you can pirate it. Plus, if you're watching at home, you can have your own popcorn machine like I do and get as much popcorn as you want. Pop you can get from the grocery store for $1 a case instead of paying, $8 for a glass. It's a better way to go. And premium video on demand is looking real good. In fact, if we look down here further, we can see AMC has been hit hard by the corona shutdowns, and earlier this month, it reportedly was in talks with a law firm to potentially file for Chapter 11. Mind you, Chapter 11 would just give it protection from its creditors and from its vendors and all that. It's not Chapter 7, it's Chapter 11, but that's still not a great sign. To be a theater right now is a very, very hard thing to do. Between live streaming and DVDs dying, you really don't have a lot of wiggle room left. And now that streaming has really taken off, the COVID problem has shown that ISPs can take out the data cap ban, which we are going to talk about that on another episode because that is a whole show on its own. But we've seen that ISPs can take away the data cap. We now know that the US and North American infrastructure is not suitable, so that's going to have to be completely revamped and completely upgraded coming out of this thing. We can see that this is the way forward. This is the future coming out. And with premium video on demand being a very viable option for both consumers and for the production houses and the studios, I don't know, man. AMC might need to talk to that law firm while they're getting Chapter 11. Just maybe get ready for a Chapter 7 too. I think this is a much better way to go. And while you're trying to fight back against this whole premium video on demand thing, I think your better bet would be to create a hosting service where instead of everyone having to come through to each individual platform, you kind of like create the digital theater. I'm not sure exactly how the logistics of that would work. I literally made it up as I was saying the sentence, but that's just my thought process coming out of this, because it's just not a great idea for them to, think that, well, if we issue an idle threat against Universal, maybe I'll make them change their mind. Universal made $120 million in 3 weeks from video on demand. They don't need you anymore. They've already proven that. And now you can be also really, really well assured that Disney is looking at this for Disney Plus. In fact, they're reported to be releasing a movie coming out here soon on Disney Plus for free, because it's one of the toss away movies. But Black Widow could absolutely be a premium video on demand, 100%. AMC, instead of issuing threats, needs to sit down and actually figure out what their move going forward is going to be in terms of viability and survivability. But that's really all I have to say about the matter. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. If you like this video or this channel, hey, do hit that subscribe button. Trying to get to 1,000 subs on this channel. If you like this type of content, leave a comment down below and let me know, and let me see if you guys want me to talk about anything else. If you want more educational stuff, there's tutorial videos on the channel, and hopefully soon reviews should be coming back. I've been working at the bar to reset up the cameras and everything and do some microphone tests. So that should be hopefully ready to go soon. A lot of stuff got jumbled up there when I started working on this 24-hour streaming setup thing, so I couldn't really like record there per se. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. My name has been Arif. This has been your Daily Chat Season 5, Episode 18, and I'll see all of you on the next episode. Have a good day, guys. Bye.